Okay, it is called a Reproduco, made by Operators Piano Company in 1928. And this particular item was used in a funeral parlor. So it was a funeral parlor player. It was originally a funeral parlor player organ, though they made some that for movie theaters, which were called photo players. And this one I have added at the request of the client a xylophone and some additional percussion, which is played by this little keyboard down here. This is a drawer that you pull out. It has little buttons that operate the percussion up there. Now the big problem with this particular roll, while it has coding to turn on and off the pipes and create expression, there is no coding on the roll for percussion. And the client wanted to have some percussion to accompany his rolls, and he was a drummer in a band, so it stands to reason that he would want something like this. What we have here on the left is a wood block. This is a single stroke snare. This is a reiterating snare. It vibrates like the wood block does. And then this is the triangle.
Oh, how interesting. So it's done on the fly when someone's playing?
Yeah.
How interesting.
The extension was I custom made. I added the xylophone and the bits of percussion and the little drawer down here to make them play. Because it was made for a funeral parlor, it wouldn't have had those gizmo type of things in it. But anyway, this was at the request of the client who wanted to jazz it up a little. So there's been a lot of rolls made for it, but unfortunately there's no percussion coded on it. There is coding for expression, there's coding that turn on and off the pipes. There are 3 sets of pipes in this thing. There is a quintadina and a flute and a stop diapason.
Is this typical of what you would see in a funeral parlor, or did they make a specific type of piano just for that? I know it sounds a little silly, or is this a conventional piano that just happened to be used in a parlor?
No, it's special. It was all special made. Now the mechanism is incredibly simple. It doesn't really require, the organ and the piano don't really require the player in there to make them work. So a lot of them survived because they were able to function after the player quit working.
Do you have the death march since it was a funeral? Did you have a death march?
I only had the client only sent me 3 rolls, and they're all marches and pop pieces.
I had to ask. I just wondered, since you said it was at a funeral home. So what do you have set up for us, and what's being played here? Would this be considered what was conventional for the time?
Yes. What we've got, or instead of the funeral parlor rolls, is we got, like I said, this was a multi-service. The rolls, these are multi-service. So you had rolls made for theater organs, for the photo players, and then you had rolls for the funeral parlor. And of course the ones that are most popular with collectors are the theater organ rolls. So that's what we have here. So you see it's chock full of pipes. Well, these, it has, like I said, it has 3 sets of pipes. These are called quintadinas. These are the metal. These are metal pipes. They're made out of lead and zinc. And then the pipes behind them are called open flutes, and they're wood. And then there's a set of stop diapason, which have a stopper in the top, a wooden stopper. And what that does is it causes the pipe to play an octave lower. So you don't have to have really long pipes. There's not much room, and if you can see here, they've got a miter so they can fit them all in. We had to restore the pallets that operate the pipes here. We had to replace all the tubing. uh, a lot of extensive gasket work, and so on.
The open?
Yeah, it's
like,
called, these are called swell shades, and they, this bellows here operates those from, as command from the roll. And they give a little expression, when they open up, the organ plays louder. When they're closed, it muffles the sound of the pipes. Photo players got turned into monsters. A lot of these Reproducos got turned into what are called monsters, or their operators made another type of roll called an O roll. This is called an NO or NOS roll, and the O roll has percussion, gobs of percussion. It's like maybe 5 or 6 different percussion holes. So a lot of these got transformed into O roll machines.
I'm just sort of being provocative now, because you're restoring. You're taking things that have been made years ago, and you're proudly creating and keeping the craft alive.
Mm-hmm.
If someone sees this kind of addition that you do to this player, would they consider that a detriment to this machine's value? Would they say, no, you want to keep it as pure as possible? Or do you even have an opinion about a thing
That's
like
in
that?
the mind of the beholder. Now, what I did that's different from what a lot of people used to do was that I made a new lid here. If he wants to if he or a descendant or someone else gets this thing and wants to convert it back to the straight funeral parlor thing that it was, they could take this off, put the original lid back on, make a few other modifications, and I didn't do anything that seriously
Compromise the integrity of the
compromise
original.
instrument.
That's the only reason I ask, because you hear oftentimes people will talk about antiques and it would be more valuable if you'd have just not done that or done this, and I didn't know if that same sort of value or in the industry that you're in, if they apply it the same way, would people look at this and go, oh, you've just ruined a wonderful piece of history, or would they say how clever, that was a great way to extend the life of a product? So now the next step is there anything else you want to share with me on this?
Oh, you've got to see the pipes, the bass pipes.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, these are the stop diapason bass pipes, the last octave, or pedal pipes, as some people call them, that play the bass range of the organ in this Reproduco. Well, it plays the bass end of the roll scale, and also originally it had a pedal board. It was a keyboard, sort of a small keyboard that mounted in front of the piano that you played with your feet. Like I said, these are stopped, which means they sound an octave lower than they would if they were open.
The purpose of each of those things in the middle, are they handles to pull it open?
That's to tune it.
So you never mess with them except if you're tuning them.
Yeah.
I see. So that would be a bad thing to come along and pull one or make an adjustment, because
Yeah.
they have to
Knock it out
remain
of tune.
very good. Now I understand. That makes sense. And how come all of them look fairly consistent except one?
There was one missing. I had to make a new.
Do you feel like it's a pretty cool sound and worked
It's a
out pretty good?
Pretty cool
Yeah.
sound.
If you could have done anything different, is there anything you would have done different?
No.
Okay.
If it were mine, I would do some different.
Well, that's what I want to know. Like, just
Well,
just give me one example of
Oh,
something.
I would probably replace those quinadinas, those lead pipes, with violin pipes.
And that would probably give it a much
because
more.
the quintadina is a funeral parlor sound.
I got
mean,
you.
That's,
And this would be more of a orchestral sound if you had
Yeah.
something like that.
yeah. These the Reproducos came in 2 flavors. This one plays a regular player piano spool frame. Well, what we got here is a 10-tune spool, 10-tune roll that's been cut up into smaller. There's three or four tunes on each roll, or 3 or 4 pieces. The first tune on here we're going to play is a T for 2. This particular roll is a multi-tune roll. It has pop tunes from the 1920s. Some of the others have marches. Some of the others just have characteristic music that's meant to fit a particular action on a film. Okay, while there isn't any music playing, I can demonstrate the
You kept flipping up and down there and kept attending to
that
that.
turns the xylophone on and off.
Why can't you just set it so that it just stays on and you have to manually turn it on each time?
Well, you want to create something in the music, so you
Oh, okay, so this is actually
turn it on.
complementary in the same fashion as the four rows of the buttons there. Now I got it. So it's not something that's automatic, it's a thing that you can electively do when you're engaging with the unit.
Yeah,
I got you.
I can actually code the roll so it turns
On and off. But
That particular song doesn't have the code.